But obviously, these storms this is north of Bowling Green. This is Edmonson County. Out there into Hart County, at least have a severe thunderstorm warning. But then we also have that other tornado warning that is in effect for northern Greene and northwestern Taylor County. So 1 tornado warning, 2 tornado warnings, and a severe thunderstorm warning right in between north of Munfordville and in through central parts of Greene County, because we could be dealing with those winds gusting up to about 60 miles per hour. So the tornado warning in Edmonson County, again, continues for the next 14 minutes. So let's go back down to that storm, Audrey. Let's flip back on the velocity. I want to make sure I'm looking at this correctly so I can give everyone the best estimate of what we are looking at. So again, we're not getting a really good scan on a velocity. Okay, yeah, so we're using the Fort Campbell radar, and if we'd use the Louisville one, it wouldn't really make much of a difference. Brownsville's kind of right in the middle, so we're getting a high scan on this storm. Unfortunately, you want the lowest scan possible, so when these storms are closer to radars, you can always get a better indication of the rotation here, but certainly the way it's starting to look on reflectivity gives you an idea that it's becoming a little bit more independent, which means it can utilize some of the rotation and some of the energy in the atmosphere a bit more. So 2 tornado warnings do remain in effect. Let's go back to radar. Let's flip the script and go back to radar once again. And you can see again, this storm doesn't look the most impressive, but it's starting to take on almost like that kidney bean look that sometimes we see when we have rotating storms. And that rotation shifting down there into Brownsville. And we also have the tornado warning. That is until 6:45. That's Eastern time. They're out in the Eastern time. So that's still for the next 12 minutes here. These are really the 2 more significant storms. This is Edmonson County. This is Hart County, northern Greene, and Taylor County. So it really seems like between Edmonson County, Hart County, and Greene County, that's where we're going to have some of the more significant weather. But we'll have to keep an eye on how these storms continue to evolve over the next hour or so, because they could certainly start to shift a little bit more to the southeast. And so that means the threats would continue to shift further southeast. But in addition to the possibility of a tornado with this storm that is starting to push into Brownsville, we do have the potential for winds in general, non-tornadic winds, to be up to 60 miles per hour, and also some large hail. We're dealing with the same threats in northern Greene County and Taylor County. But zooming back into the storm, Audrey, in northern Edmonson County, again, you can see we've got Ollie in here, probably seeing some hail nearby. But yeah, this look right here, starting to get an indication. Maybe we got some extra rotation in there with that little notch around Brownsville. If you're in Brownsville, again, please be in your safe zone. If you live around Mammoth Cave National Park, best to just stay put. Obviously, we're starting to get into the real early morning hours. Folks are getting ready for the day, but you don't want to venture out. And if you are maybe traveling north on a 65, you can see that we've got some very heavy rainfall, and we certainly have the possibility that maybe a tornado warning gets extended. And if it would be extended, it would likely be extended out towards the I-65 corridor. But for now, this warning will just continue for the next 10 minutes. Again, if you're in Brownsville, if you're in the community of Pig, Mammoth Cave National Park, if you're anywhere around Mammoth Cave in Edmonson County, you want to seek shelter as this storm continues to race off to the east, a little east of southeast. So again, we'll keep an eye on some locations further to the south, like into Metcalfe County and also into parts of Barron County. You can see that the tornado warning has now been extended. So Audrey, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about the information that we are now getting in from the Weather Service on this new tornado warning that is now in effect until 6 o'clock.
Yeah, let me just pull that up right now. Let's see. This one is for the one in Southern Hart County, and that is going to be until 6 a.m. Central Time. And at 5:35 a.m. Central Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Brownsville, moving east at 45 miles an hour. We could potentially see a tornado associated with this. Make sure to get into your safe location right now. We'll see this storm near Munfordville around 5:50 a.m. Again, make sure to take cover right now. You could potentially be seeing some hail as well in this system. And then for the one in, let's see, in the one in northwestern Greene and northwestern Taylor counties, they'll expire at 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time, 5:45 a.m. Central Time. The storm it was prompted, the warning moved out of the area, therefore the warning will be allowed to expire right now. Tornado watch remains in effect until 11 a.m.
All right, so if you zoom the map out here a little bit, again, we're bringing you up to speed on everything that's going on as we speak, and we've had a few tornado warnings now within just the last hour, and the latest warning now puts a Munfordville in the warning. And Audrey, if you could possibly pull up the Munfordville cam, you can try to do that while you leave the screen here. If you try to pull up the Munfordville cam, that way we can get maybe a visual on this storm as it continues to move on in from the west. But yeah, the storm has that notch feature right there, and that's near Brownsville, and that's where we possibly have some of the strongest rotation in this storm. So it's starting to shift more from Edmonson County into Hart County. So if you are in Munfordville, get into your safe zone right now. Lowest level of your house, a basement if you've got it. Storm shelter, of course, that's the best if you have access to that. But get into an interior location, a closet, a laundry room, or a bathroom. That's going to be your best bet. Bring in the blankets, the pillows, the stuffed animals for the kids, whatever you need to help ease your mind through this. We just want to make sure you're in the most safe location you can be during this tornado, or during this tornado warning at least. Haven't had a confirmed report of a tornado, but we just want to treat it as if there is a tornado on the ground. So here's a look in Munfordville, and you can't really see a whole lot. We'll probably see some flashes of lightning here soon, but you can obviously see the flag flapping in the foreground. So this is Hart County. Tornado warning now in effect for Munfordville and really a good portion of Hart County, and that will continue until 6:30. Is it 6 o'clock, Audrey? Is it 6 o'clock?
Yeah, I think this one
6 o'clock. Okay, so for the next 20 minutes. Again, these storms are racing. They are moving very, very quickly, and so you don't have a whole lot of time to get into your safe zone. So Munfordville, we're going to keep an eye on this camera. Let's go back to radar and get another look at these storms. If you are just joining us, we know we get different audiences almost like every minute during the morning. This is what we're watching right now. We do have some significant weather pushing through the area. For Warren County, just some storms off to the west. That is nothing too severe. These certainly are much, much weaker, just producing some heavy rain. It's these storms to the north of Bowling Green that are the ones that we're watching. Obviously, we've got the tornado warning that is in effect, still remains in effect for Edmonson County, but it's probably going to get trimmed back even more as the storm continues to move towards the east. So let's zoom back into these storms here in Edmonson County. You can see that Brownsville storm beginning to pass by, but we certainly have that rotation between Ollie and Mammoth Cave National Park. Horse Cave included in this warning, and there's the I-65 corridor. So if you live around Munfordville, around Horse Cave, you need to be in your safe zone right now. And this storm also is likely producing some large hail and also some damaging winds. Not just the potential with tornadic winds, but with winds in general. This is a very strong storm that we continue to watch. So Brownsville, just give it a few more minutes and the storm will just be outside of Yorktown. But if you're in Mammoth Cave, if you're around Mammoth Cave National Park, if you're out there in Horse Cave, we've got the warning in effect. Horse Cave to Munfordville, tornado warning in effect, and even the community of Rio under this warning. So that includes really much of Hart County and far eastern Edmonson County. We do have this tornado warning that is in effect until 6 o'clock. So that is for the next 18 minutes. Audrey, there's been no confirmed reports of a tornado, anything like that?
I'm unsure. I don't.
Yeah. Let's see if I can hop back onto my computer over here. Actually, it's logged down on me right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. But far as what we've heard and what we're seeing in these warnings that we're getting from the National Weather Service, it sounds like we're just dealing with a radar-indicated tornado. But of course, as the warnings continue to extend, it's likely that we continue with strong enough rotation in these storms to keep these warnings going. And that's the reason why the National Weather Service keeps the tornado warnings going and not just severe thunderstorm warnings. There's obviously enough rotation within these storms to where they continue to pose a tornado threat as they move off to the east. So we're monitoring this storm right here. This is where we've got some more of the significant rotation. It is getting into far eastern parts of Edmonson County and it's about to push into Hart County. And across Hart County, you can see that you're initially getting the very heavy rainfall, and then the storm that could be producing the tornado follows. And so initially with some very heavy rain, that makes visibility next to nothing. So don't even think to try to go outside and look to see where this possible tornado could be. We are coming up at 5:43, so I know a lot of folks are waking up. And of course, folks I know who are in the tornado warning area, they're already awake. And we are now seeing the threat start to shift more into Hart County, but between Ollie and Mammoth Cave, that's where we will still have some torrential rainfall and certainly have some of that rotation with this storm. And if we can go back to the velocity product, let's see how the rotation is looking, although I haven't been able to see anything overly impressive, although we do likely have some of that rotation right there. So that's starting to push into Hart County. So if you're in Munfordville, please be in your storm shelter right now, because this is the area that we're watching, and that is certainly heading your way. But even if you're in Horse Cave, sometimes these areas of rotation can wobble a bit. It can be a little bit, more north or south, but the general direction this is heading is over there towards Munfordville, and we are actually, that's as of 5:30. It's saying 5:30. We're at 5:45 now. So, but this is showing a current look at the storm. So our time stamp here is off for some reason by about 15 minutes. But this storm right here is pushing into Hart County and is moving over towards Munfordville. So be in your safe zone in Munfordville. But even over there into Bonnieville, we're certainly dealing with maybe some of the stronger wind gusts and also the potential for hail. So the main areas we're watching, obviously, between Edmonson County and Hart County, that's where we do have the tornado warning in effect. Now, do we have, it looks like two of the warnings dropped off the map, so that's good. if we zoom out, Audrey, what other warnings do we still have going? Okay, so now we just have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for parts of Taylor County. That's really starting to push out of our viewing area. So the main storm that we're watching, and will continue to do so for the next 14 minutes until we get maybe an extension on this warning, is the storm in Hart County. As we're not seeing, again, impressive velocity scan. We're not seeing what we refer to as a couplet when you have the greens next to the reds and it looks very defiant as a good area of rotation. The problem here is that, again, these storms are being scanned very high. We're using the radar down at Fort Campbell, which is a far away from Munfordville. But even if we use the radar in Louisville, we're not really getting much better scan on this storm. So this is kind of the best we have, and just not seeing much of an impressive look on velocity. But if we go back to Doppler radar, I'll show you that this red area moving into Bowling Green, that's a non-severe. And it looks like those storms will likely stay that way. So here in Bowling Green, right now we're just watching some heavy rain off to the northwest. Tornado warning until 6 o'clock for this storm as it does approach Munfordville. And we also have the severe thunderstorm warning that is on the fringe of our viewing area in northeastern Taylor County. So there may not be a ton of storms out there for everybody at least, but the ones that have developed are certainly causing some issues. Tornado warning for the next 13 minutes. If you're just joining us right now, if you're in Munfordville, take cover, seek shelter in your safe zone, interior closet, a bathroom, a laundry room, best place to be with a possible tornado on the ground and nearby. And Audrey, if we go back to our sky cam, I'm just curious to see how it is looking outside in Munfordville. So here's a live look. Again, it's dark, so that kind of hampers the view in general. You can see the American flag in the foreground there, and you can see some flashes in the background indicating some of that lightning. We haven't had a ton of lightning in these kind of storm setups. When you don't have a ton of instability, you don't get a whole lot of lightning, as a matter of fact, but there's a lot of wind shear, and that's the reason why these storms are developing, producing large hail, strong damaging winds, and even isolated tornadoes because of the amount of wind shear that we're dealing with. And you can see the wind certainly ripping through town as we speak, and you can even see with the light there, you can see some of those streaks of rain really pushing in. So this is associated with the storm that does have the tornado warning on it. So we'll go back to radar and we'll continue to look at how this storm is coming together. And it continues again to race off to the east. So it is really from Hart County to Greene County. Greene County could be next in line if this tornado warning does get extended, and we'll stay on. We'll stay on for Greene County. But other locations right now, watching the storm moving into Bowling Green, nothing that's looking very impressive. This storm is kind of hogging a lot of the energy in the atmosphere. Any storm to the north, you can see it's feeding off of some more energy in the atmosphere compared to this storm right here, which is passing by like Greencastle and Richardsville in northern Warren County, about ready to push into Bowling Green here shortly. So the tornado warning has really been trimmed down now. And Audrey, let's zoom back into the storm here as we are watching. It's just passing by Munfordville. The strongest rotation is likely between Munfordville and Horse Cave. And of course, we've got I-65, got the I-65 corridor, and potentially some hail on this storm as it's reaching speeds of about 55 miles per hour. These storms have just been booking it. They have a lot of speed, and as they move quickly, obviously, when these warnings come out, you got to react very quickly and get to your safe zone as fast as possible. So 5:50, that leaves us about 10 more minutes with this warning. And the Weather Service has actually been doing a pretty good job of timing out these warnings because these storms, they're just moving so quickly. So Horse Cave, Munfordville, you are under this tornado warning that continues until the top of the hour. And this is the same storm that just moved out of Edmonson County. And this is part of the same system that has been generating those tornado warnings over the last hour and a half now. And we will possibly see more of these warnings as this continues off to the east. But right now, the polygon just really covers southern parts of Hart County. And this is really from Munfordville south to a Horse Cave along I-65. And Audrey, let's really zoom in here. Let's see a few more towns. See if we can get a few more towns to show up. Rolette, you're pretty close to the strongest part of the rotation. Northtown as well. So we've got a few small locations in between, but we don't want to forget about anybody. Cedar Cliff Church in the warning, and also out there towards Flint Ridge Road. We've got the strongest rotation out that way. Again, this is 65 here, which will become a little bit more heavily traveled over the next few hours as folks are heading out in the morning. But this is certainly not an area you want to be driving into. Not only do we have the tornado warning in effect, but we've also got that very heavy rainfall that can lead to almost no visibility, and we've also got the potential for hail and strong damaging winds. So a few other locations, again, in this warning: Rolettes, Horse Cave, Uno, and also out there into Hardyville. This storm is rapidly moving off to the east, and you can see, again, a few other roads in the way here. Tommy Tom's Road, and again, towards Hardyville, we've got the potential for a tornado passing nearby. There's been no verification, no confirmation that we've had a tornado on the ground. This has just been radar indicated, but certainly with the amount of wind shear in the atmosphere, we could certainly have a tornado on the ground. And we like to always treat even radar indicated tornadoes as active tornadoes on the ground. So that's what we're watching with this storm. Really the rotation over there towards Rolette. That's where we likely have some of the strongest rotation, as the storm is really now in the process of passing over I-65. Let's stop radar. Let's stop radar here. Let's give it a pause here. Give everyone a chance to kind of catch up. I like to put it on the loop every once in a while, just kind of show you the exact direction that the storm is moving. But we're likely getting some of those strong winds as the leading edge of the storm pushes some of that strong wind into Horse Cave, also Uno as well. We're just getting the torrential rainfall around Rolettes. The problem with these storms we've been facing lately is that they're just completely covered in rain. And of course, it's dark out, and so you can't get any. It's very difficult to at least get a visual on any tornado if one actually does develop. So this is Hart County. This is where the tornado warning remains in effect for the next 7 minutes. And it's our mission to you, if we do have a tornado warning in effect for any part of the viewing area, we stay on air until the warning has been allowed to expire. And so we still got about another 5 minutes here. Our radar time, I think, is 1 minute short. But you can see that obviously, in addition to the possible tornado, we've got torrential rainfall, and we've also got the potential for some hail. The storm is moving very quickly off to the east. So let's zoom the map back out, and we're going to keep a heads up to see if this tornado warning is extended into Greene County. But right now, the most impressive part of this broken line of storms is over Hart County, and also starting to push out of the area, but there's another tornado warning just to the east of Taylor County. So the threats are limited to southern Hart County. But obviously, as that continues to move to the east, we're going to be watching it as it moves into Greene County. But southwest of that storm, not too impressed with what I'm seeing moving into Warren County, although it looks like this part has maybe intensified just a little bit. We're not even seeing much lightning with this. This, again, is the prime example of a low instability, high shear environment. The instability allows the storms to grow and produce a lot of lightning. The shear allows them to rotate. We've got the shear that's allowing these storms to rotate, but we just don't have a ton of instability. So we don't have a ton of lightning, except for, a few more of those strikes into Taylor County and also into southern Hart County. But the part of the line, the broken line that extends into northern Warren County, we've just got some heavy rain as we speak. But we're going to give it still the next 4 minutes on this warning, see what the National Weather Service decides to do. They've just added a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southern Greene County. So we're going to let this warning expire here. It's not a guarantee that we just stick with this warning, because these storms have been rotating a lot, and it seems like they might lose rotation briefly and then regain it. So yes, we just have a severe thunderstorm warning that's now in effect for southern Greene County, but we'll still keep an eye on this storm. It is still certainly producing some rotation, and we could definitely have another tornado warning put out. But it looks like this warning is going to be allowed to expire, but we've got it going for basically the next 2 minutes. So if you live south of Munfordville, southern Hart County, stay in that safe zone next couple of minutes, and we'll get you through this. The line that is moving into a Bowling Green, not even producing much lightning, but it certainly does have some heavy rain. So the storm continues to move to the east. It could be producing some winds in excess of 50 miles per hour and possibly hail as well. And that's what we're likely seeing in parts of southern Hart County as the storm really is moving very fast. These storms have been booking it, and that doesn't leave you with a whole lot of time to take cover. And so these warnings, like this one right here, you can see how it is expanded out pretty far, but it only covers like the next 30 minutes. And that's just because when a storm is going at 50 miles per hour, you have to really make sure that the severe thunderstorm warnings cover enough of an area. But of course, these are not issued by us. They're issued by the National Weather Service in Louisville. So we're at 2 minutes until the top of the hour. We remain in full weather coverage mode on this first alert weather day that continues into the early morning hours of your Thursday. I know folks getting ready for the day. I've been here all night. Audrey is in with me. She's a man in the radar, doing a great job. And we are still with the tornado warning really for the next 2 minutes. That is for southern Hart County. And that is going to be likely allowed to expire in just a moment, but we'll have to see if there's any sort of extension on this warning. Yes, there was one added into Greene County, but we've seen the severe thunderstorm warnings overlap the tornado warning, so it's not a guarantee that we're completely done with this warning, at least for Greene County. There's certainly a possibility that could still be issued, but we'll give it the next minute and let this warning expire in Hart County. You're still dealing with some very heavy rainfall, though, and likely some strong winds and even some isolated hail. As this line moves in, even here at the station, I can kind of hear the winds outside. It's not severe, but it's producing maybe winds in excess of 35, 40 miles per hour, but the strongest winds associated with this part of the line as it is moving towards the east into southern Greene County. So right now we are at the top of the hour. Still have the polygon box showing up. That is likely to go off here pretty soon, but until it does, we'll stay on air and we'll see if anything else is issued by the National Weather Service. But they seem to think that, okay, well, We've got a strong part of this storm moving to the east. We're going to put the severe thunderstorm warning on it for wind and also hail. So it looks like we've just got the severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for southeastern Hart County and also southern Greene County. And so we're going to keep an eye on these storms. If we would get another tornado warning, we'll come right back to full weather coverage. But since the warning has expired, we'll allow it to go back to regularly scheduled programming.